All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. From the moment that the Phoenix Suns fired Monty Williams as their head coach last month, the Detroit Pistons zeroed in on making him their next head coach. The rumors were circulating that Williams initially turned the Pistons down, but either way, they gave the veteran head coach an offer that he could not refuse. It took the Pistons making Williams the highest paid coach in NBA history, but he is now set to run the show in Detroit. The Pistons are giving Williams $78.5 million over the next 6 years to be their head coach. And honestly, the only way that I could have seen Williams taking this job is if the Pistons threw a boatload of money at him, which is exactly what they did. During this coaching cycle, Williams has been a finalist for the head coaching position for the Milwaukee Bucks, which went to Adrian Griffin. And then he was also rumored to have been on the radar of the Philadelphia 76ers, who decided to hire former Toronto Raptors head coach Nick Nurse. But what can we expect from Monty Williams in Detroit? The Pistons have only had one winning season since 2008, with just three playoff appearances over that stretch and no trips to the second round. Seven head coaches in the last 15 years, as Detroit has become a graveyard where coaches and players alike see their careers die there. The Pistons have missed on so many of their draft picks in recent years, as this franchise has been plagued by bad personnel decisions. Of course, one of the questions is going to be, can the Pistons build around Cade Cunningham? And of course, he was a first overall pick a couple of years ago, but he's only appeared in 76 NBA games over 2 seasons. Of course, just 12 games this year due to the leg injury. Now, this past season, the Pistons were 29th in the NBA in points scored and 27th in points allowed, which basically sums up why this team only won 17 games this past season. And even with that, as Detroit had the worst record in the NBA, they did not luck out, if you will, during the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, as they're going to be picking fifth in the upcoming NBA draft. And you look at this front office, led by, of course, team owner Tom Gores. You also got Ed Stefanski and Troy Weaver in there. They've got to try to find a way to get this thing turned around. The Pistons had the worst record in the NBA this past season. And then you're talking about it over the last 4 years. You have a situation where the Detroit Pistons have only won 80 games over the last 4 years. That's not good. They have not even been able to win at least 25 games in any one of those seasons. So that just gives you an idea of the futility for this team. Monty Williams showed himself to be a solid coach, both in his time with the New Orleans Pelicans and then, of course, most recently with the Phoenix Suns. And I really thought after, not being named head coach in Milwaukee, not being named head coach in Philadelphia, that maybe Monty Williams wanted to sit out this season and maybe see if a better job came down the pike. Uh, I think this was an extremely desperate move on the part of the Detroit Pistons to go out there and get a coach as they're trying to become relevant again. But a good coach will only take you so far. You still need players and you still need personnel. And these are things that the Detroit Pistons are currently lacking. Um, I think at best, we're talking about this being a work in progress for Monty Williams and the Detroit Pistons as far as getting this thing turned around. Because when you're talking about you only won 17 games, that means you failed to compete. And that is what the Pistons have currently become. So you look at this, Cade Cunningham, we don't know what he's going to be. What are they going to do with that fifth pick? They're not, an interesting destination for free agents around the NBA, obviously, because they're not good right now. So this is going to be a work in progress. But obviously, in making a head coach the highest paid coach in NBA history, you're giving him a lot of leeway. You're also showing that you're going to be patient with him as far as turning this thing around, because this is not going to be a quick fix for the Detroit Pistons, because they've been trying to fix this thing for over a decade now. So I'm kind of shocked that Monty Williams took the job, but at the end of the day, let's see how this thing works out. It's just going to be a whole bunch of question marks around this for right now, as far as the Pistons and Monty Williams. But at the end of the day, money talks. And it took a boatload of it to get him to come to Detroit. And let's see if Monty Williams is going to be the guy to get things turned around for the Pistons. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.